Hey everyone, Updog here, and today we got a updated war counter graphic for you. As you may have known, I did a war counter graphic a couple of times. I think this is the third version. So let's take a look and show you what's brand new with it. Just a reminder that the main counters that are listed here, it's basically in the middle of the graphic here. Those are intended to punch up 10 to 20%. Some of them can do a lot more. Some of them are like right at 10%, but just keep that in mind. And then if you see this red X, the disrupted symbol that we have, and also that's, you get the disrupted in the reactor. So that's why I kind of associate that symbol. If you see that on teams like here, then you need to make sure to be careful of using that team if you are in the reactor. And in case you aren't familiar with how to get this graphic, you can go check out our Discord. I have it up here on the graphic. I always have a link down in the description as well. So that's where you can find it. And along with other infographics, like I do Stormwatch and other graphics as well. So always a good place to check into and see what's new. So I didn't change too much as far as what I already had on here because, the counters don't really change except for when there are the war season buffs. Like right now we have the buffs to the Cosmic Heroes, we have a little bit of buffs to New Warriors. So I don't intend on making a new graphic every time there's a new war season buff because it's temporary, it'll go away. I'd rather focus on counters that are going to work long term. So if you do want to know some of the good counters right now, especially for like New Warriors, I've had that question a lot. Death Seed is a good option. You need to make sure that Magneto's a skirmisher just to make sure you blind everyone, especially if they are boosted. If they're a boosted New Warriors, then that blind definitely has a big chance of not landing. So Death Seed, Infinity Watch, if you have like a big enough Black Order, that would work. It's pretty rough on a punch up, but those are the main three teams that come to mind right now that we've been using. I think if you wanted to use Undying, like a 3-piece Undying, that would work as well. So let's go through the teams that I added. Hive Mind came out since I last updated the graphic. And Weapon X will just tear them to shreds because they go faster than them, so you can control the Void Knight. And yeah, like I said, just tear them to shreds basically before they get a chance to get sped up and get going. Extreme X-Men, ironically, another raid team, will take them out. And A-Force will also take them out because they have the cleanse, and when Jessica Jones does special, she gives immunity and barrier and stuff. It's hard for them to get through that. And then you have the photon blind out there to stop their attacks as well, so kind of stops them in their tracks quite a bit. I did make a little bit of a change to the infestation counter. The Tangled Kang counter still works pretty well. I did have Yo-Yo over here. She's still an okay option if you have her big, and if you have her big, you've been playing a long time. But these are the other options that you can fill in these two slots. I always use Noir, but just because I have him fairly built. And then lately I've been using Hawkeye, and that's been working out really well because even if he gets blinded, he can still get some hits in there, even though he doesn't hit that hard. But it's better than Yo-Yo not doing anything, from what I had. And then I added in the Lizard, basically the Sinister 6 with Echo counter. That works great. So that one was definitely worthy of being added to the infestation. I had a lot of requests for Infinity Watch to be added to the graphic, which I'm not sure why I didn't have them on there before. I don't really remember. Like initially, I think it was mainly because they are just really good on offense in so many situations. But in case you see that, which right now you probably do see that a lot with the Cosmic Heroes getting the buffs. So there's your counters there. And then Nowhere, we actually do have a few counters for them now, so I added them in there. Initially, they were still pretty new. They were still really good for offense, but now we're seeing them more on defense, so we got them added there. Then I had some requests for Masters of Evil, which I could understand at a maybe an alliance at like Plat 2, Plat 1, or lower. Definitely could understand seeing that on defense. I initially didn't have it on there because Kang's passive doesn't work on defense, so I didn't really think it was a really great option, but if you're a newer player, mid-game player, I could see it maybe, being a thing. So added that as well. Like I said before, this new Warriors is not counting the current buffs right now, but still most of the counters do work. Like I mentioned, Death Seed and Infinity Watch. So there you go. And then the big new team out of time team. Of course, this isn't going to have a lot of counters, and if it does, it's going to mostly need a sacrifice attack. Apocalypse with Nowhere definitely has the ability to one-shot them. It's not easy, but you want to do basics with most of your characters, well, with Nova for sure, until you get through the Black Knight taunt, and then you can start taking out characters that you need to. Maybe Black Knight, take out Black Knight with Apocalypse, Empowered Basic, something like that. Once he's down, it's really easy to take it out. But if that's not an option for you, or your Nowhere's not big enough, let's say, then it's best to just sacrifice the team. If it's a full out-of-time team, sacrifice them, then you can use the Sinister Six team that I have listed here, or possibly like an APOC New Avengers team as well. So then I did have some requests also for War Dogs on defense. Again, I initially didn't add them because they weren't that great on defense, but also, just like with Masters of Evil, I could understand if newer mid-game players put them on defense, so went ahead and added that as well. And then we get to the X-Men reworks that we had. So we had Colossus, Phoenix, Kitty Pryde, Jubilee, and X-23 reworked. And it did change the counters a little bit, but the main counter for Black Order still works, which is ironic because the Uncanny X-Men, when they put in magic in the game, they were the counter for Black Order. Then Black Order got reworked. Then the X-Men got reworked, but Black Order is still able to beat the Uncanny and the Astonishing as well. The other teams that can counter them, ironically as well, use summons as part of some of their characters' kits, like Ultron, Fury, Maria Hill. And I guess we got Fury too on the Invaders team. So if you're using those counters, just be careful. Just essentially, if Jubilee's on the team, if you're facing a Jubilee, then just be careful of your summons. Make sure Jubilee, if she's stunned, then her passive won't go off if summons are killed. But yeah, just take her out as fast as you can. It can be a little bit tricky now. These counters do work. I did have quite a pretty big success against them with Masters of Evil, but I would prefer to keep Kang for like an infestation counter. So yeah, that's it for my update. I hope you guys like it. Hope it's helpful for you. I have gotten a lot of feedback saying people love it, so I'm very happy to hear that. That's why I'm happy to continue doing this, continue adding it. I apologize it's so huge, but it is fun to work on this kind of graphic. So if you have any quality issues, which I don't foresee, but let me know if you have any problems viewing it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we'll catch y'all later.